Hi everyone. Let me just get the stage ready. We still have 1 minute. Okay, looks perfect. Well, welcome everyone. Just give me some thumbs ups or signs using the icons so that I see some reactions. Okay, one heart. I see that we already have 15 people in. It's 2 o'clock here in Germany. So I guess it's time to start. Once again, welcome. Thank you all for joining. I hope you have been enjoying what we prepare for you. The Unlimited Realities Virtual Forum has already welcomed on our stage 7 guests that you already got the opportunity to interact with them. Now, in this stage, I'm going to present you a showcase of what we are doing at Xperience Plus. On other stages, you have other speakers covering as well really good topics, but I hope that you can bear with me. I try to bring my personal story as well into it, and a bit more deep dive into what you may have heard from previous speakers or from Fabrizio himself. But let's jump directly into it. So, as you may imagine, because it's here, my name is Pedro Ferreira. I'm Portuguese. I'm in the middle of my 30s, and I've been working with different startups and with different entrepreneurs in Europe. But since barely 10 years, I'm based here in Frankfurt, where I connected with Singularity University. I'm one of the local charter leaders, and where I met Fabrizio Gramuglio, my co-founder of Xperience Plus. Just a bit of an overview about myself. Well, I'm one of these guys. I don't call myself a geek, but I always was a tech early adopter. So I was always trying to have or experiment the latest technologies. And if I go back and I try to remember one thing that I really loved in my childhood was this TV show. In Europe is quite well known. I don't know, all over the world. It was called De Hugo, in Portuguese, Hugo. And what was really funny about this game, or at least the thing that I liked the most, in Portugal, it was played on the television, and people, the users, will call a number and start using the telephone to play the game live. And this for me was really disrupting, and it was something that I really loved about this TV show. I was not too much into books, but one or the type of books that I was into are these ones. I don't know if you remember the ones that have different paths, and depending on the path that you choose, the end is going to be totally different. So I was kind of addicted to this kind of books. There is a series or an episode of Black Mirror that exactly touch into this type of books. So if you are curious, go and check it. And that being said, I think you already understand that after this, one of my first gigs while working were really trying to integrate these technologies into my professional background. So one of the first projects that I was working with was really to try to transmit this into advertisement. So a bit in Europe with a team of really great professionals, we were integrating trailers, so movies on the internet, where the characters would interact with you, with me, with the users that were watching it, through telephone. So the idea is, for example, on the trailer of Buried, and here it's really a very nice integration and immersion, because the character is buried alive, and what he's trying to do is to escape, and he has a mobile phone. So, and the idea is that in the movie, he would call you directly. So you would start talking with the character in the movie. Another example here, maybe you don't know this person, is a famous rugby player, or used to be a very famous rugby player in France. And in this spot, TV advertisement, he was going to hit a penalty, shoot a penalty. And of course, he doesn't know how to shoot a penalty because he is a rugby player. So in the end, he calls you and asks, well, where should I shoot? And then you, with the mobile phone, would select and you would try to score the goal. So this is just to show you a bit of myself, of my line of work. Something that I really love is a good buzz and a good viral. This is here, it's not related to COVID. I think you already seen that I'm quite creative. And now, because of this creativity, I think I easily get bored. And it's like, you can see this picture. I think we already seen the cat of Fabrizio. This looks like me. So every Friday at my place, when kids are around, if the kids are not around, it's different. But if the kids are around, most probably you will see me sleeping in the sofa, watching the movie with them, but I'm the one sleeping. And my wife will always complain. But seems that I'm not alone, because indeed, you can read a lot of studies, Generation Z, which I'm not part of, but also them, they are really already bored of the internet and bored with the television. So most people don't use television these days. And also, coming back to the cat, indeed, LG made a study, and nearly 2/3 of the Americans, for example, fall asleep while they are watching TV. So really, I'm not the only one. And coming back to the viral and the COVID, who doesn't? Because we are here doing this streaming, but there is a lot of Zoom fatigue at the moment. I guess all of us spend hours and hours at this kind of formats, and we are getting somehow tired. So during these times, indeed, we stream a lot, as I just said, but also another study shows that 50% of the consumers are still waiting for the next big thing in streaming. So that's why we are here today. What is the next big thing? And the reason why we built this forum and why we onboarded so many speakers was really to discuss these points. So myself and Xperience Plus, obviously, I will tell you it's about more interactivity, more immersion, more senses. So obviously, as Fabrizio already said, it's gonna be for sure about the Internet of Senses. But what is Internet of Senses? Fabrizio already told it, but it's really to enable people to explore all of the senses that they have in the digital world, and in the future to use it through the brain, so with brain user interfaces. So every time we present this to the investors or to the people, everyone just tells us, well, that's the future, that's not happening right now, and it's something that we face most of the time, which indeed is a myth. Another thing that everyone suddenly starts to say is, well, this is technologies from the movies, and some of the movies I also mentioned already. And indeed, some of the technologies that we developed were featured in books, in movies in the past. So yeah, what's the problem? What's the issue about it's the movies? It's the movies, but there will be for sure a reality coming up where we will use them. Another thing that people always say is this egg and chicken issue, that yes, but the devices, people don't buy the devices, or do people really need it, or how do you solve this issue? Well, this is a normal issue that every technology faces. And as Amy just said some minutes ago, it's something that sooner or later the issue will be solved. So we don't need to keep discussing, is it the egg, is it the chicken, is it the technology, is it the consumers? It will be solved soon by itself. And yes, there are some studies that say that these will be mainstream in 2030, but let's be real, we are 9 years to there, and I think we can do it pretty earlier than that. We don't need to wait 9 years. So what I wanted really to do here is to go and do a deep dive on Xperience Plus, and to present you what we are doing and why we believe that we can solve all of the issues that I just mentioned. So Xperience Plus started with an MTP, or if you don't know what an MTP is the massive transformational purpose of us, of our company, of our team. And what we want to do is really to enable people to experience unlimited realities. That's the name of the event, and now you know why. So we live in a world where people are limited to have experience, either because of COVID, that we learn now, where we are in lockdown, just like me right now. But as well, there are people with limitations, physical, psychological, economical, geographical. So it happened to all of us that we want to experience something, but we cannot do it. So what we want to solve and to target is really to support people to solve this problem. So if they cannot get access to something, technology will enable us to do it. And what are we doing here? So what Xperience Plus wants to present to you, to the world, is the first XR framework. In a technological language, is a protocol. It's a XMP4 that will enable companies, people to create and stream 5 senses. So nowadays, like here, we are only streaming audio and video, but we want to give everyone the possibility to start streaming smell, tastes, and touch on top. And this obviously has multiple use cases. So for us, it all started because we created an app, X Plus app, which is a marketplace. So for example, today I'm here in Frankfurt and I want to visit Philippines. So I would create a dream inside the app and say, okay, I would like to visit this place and feel this and that. And what the platform would do would connect me with a person in Philippines, in the city that I selected, and a person there that we call a doer would start streaming. So depending on what I have, if it's only really audio and video, today it will stream audio and video. But if I have the devices that enable to receive the other stimuli, I could start receiving the smells of Philippines, the weather, the temperature. Can you imagine? This is the way that, in a way, I would teleport myself or embed myself into Philippines. And I really want to do it because I'm tired to be here alone in Frankfurt. But yeah, this was how it all started. So our own app that enables real-time streaming. Real-time streaming can be done not only on our app, obviously, because we want to give these framework and opportunity to other people that use real-time streaming. So we will give our protocol and access to them so that this can be used in a broader scale. But on top of real-time streaming, we also understood the application for streaming and video on demand. So we are talking about maybe Netflix, Hulu, the big players that could start using us with our protocol. But not only this, also we understood after different conversations with different stakeholders from the ecosystem that the protocol can obviously be used in gaming, VR, metaverse, because indeed there are already cases of this type of usage. But where we are really different from the others is that we build this under an ecosystem. But I'll go back to this in some slides. So, apart from the use cases, this obviously opens a lot of opportunities in terms of the industries. So we have been talking a lot about traveling, obviously. Here, it's one of the applications where this can make sense. But obviously, there is a lot of sense of using this in the music. So Ivan was just talking about this some hours ago. On the travel industry, I also brought some examples of a company that is hosting a session parallel to this one, but as well arts, food, and different other business industries. So I would like to showcase you some examples of this. This could be really disrupting for the future of culture and arts. Indeed, me and Fabricio took part of a competition called EU versus Virus, where we were the winner or the challenge winner of this specific track of culture and arts, because indeed there are different options in the market, 3D visits, for example, YouTube videos. But by doing this, it's the most immersive and interactive way that you could have to explore culture and art. And indeed, it's an industry that is suffering a lot. Here are, for example, two examples of experiences that I either took part or that I wish I could have taken part. This one is to visit the Tutankhamun tomb in Egypt. And again, imagine it's very well done, but imagine that they could integrate this protocol and then you could start really smelling. It doesn't smell very good, but at least it's more realistic. The smell of the tomb, that you could feel the cold of the experience of going underground. And here the same, this one on the right it's here in Frankfurt, the possibility of travel back in time and see Frankfurt as it was centuries ago. It's very nice, but again, I think it's missing a lot of senses that could make the experience much immersive. And in a way, something that will be discussed, and it was already mentioned as well, is that by adding this kind of senses, your memory will keep it for a longer time. Although I'm mentioning this here, these two experiences I'm mentioning because they are quite fresh. But maybe in 10 years, I will not remember them because they were not so disruptive. Once there are other experiences that onboard the other senses, I'm pretty sure that my memories from these two experiences will go away. And other industries that we are disrupting, the media and broadcasting, as you can imagine. I just mentioned the applications, imagining you are watching the National Geographic documentary, and suddenly it's completely different, or the TV series that you are watching, then it's like if you are really inside what is happening. And the same can be applied for sports and fans interactions, and for VR, for travel, as I just explained. This is the company that is showcasing their work on the other session. Imagine that you can, before booking your next trip or your next hotel, that you could really go inside the hotel, but not only go inside and check how it is, but you could also try the restaurant, get the smells of the restaurant. Um, I'm sorry, I was just reading the question of Patricia. I should have done it. But to make it more interactive, yes. So we use different device producers. I will talk about it in a minute. Um, I'm sorry, that just um, I'll try to go back to the presentation, and then afterwards we can jump into the Q&A. Well, this technology as well opens a lot of possibilities in terms of advertisement, as you can imagine. The possibilities are enormous. We discussed this with Priscilla before. For those who were in the room, I gave an example, teeth. Um, Now you know it quite well. I think it's in different markets. It's one of the detergents market leader, but it was not always like that. So teeth had to gain market share. And when they started, all of the detergents were pointing at one unique selling proposition only, that they would make your clothes be whiter, and the cleanness was mainly about getting things white. So what Teat did was really to go there at the homes of the consumers and watch the process of cleaning the clothes. And the first thing they noticed is that after washing the clothes, the first thing that they were doing were smelling to see if they were clean. And no one was kind of using this argument. So what they did, they put it perfume on their formula, and they started stating that as a marketing. So that really people started to get to know teeth because of the smell. And teeth now is one of the main market leaders of that industry, just by tweaking a bit what was normal and getting something new. And it was something that they did quite well. And it's an example, and should be an example for us, to include more stimuli so that people recognize us and start using it. We could go on and discuss the future of music, for example, even just mention it. Future of fashion. I'll just showcase here one of our partners or potential partners, which allows people to really say, okay, I want you to feel in these areas of the body, either the sound or my touch. If I want to send a hug to all of you, if you would have this shirt, you would receive it in real time. And that's something that today we don't have. But if we all evangelize for that, maybe next year I can just do like this and press a button and you will receive my hug. I hope so. And yeah, the technology, maybe it's still a bit expensive, but it's not so expensive. We are talking about a device. Some devices are 200 euros, 300 euros, which is quite okay related or compared to some others. There are 2,000 or 3,000, or some years ago it was 10,000. So really the exponential growth is getting this as a big opportunity of using these devices under a much lower price. And that's great. So I hope that's a goal. Next year, you will get the t-shirt and I'm going to hug you while we are doing this presentation. And obviously, for education, I just mentioned that I'm always tired and bored. But imagine my kids, I have 4 kids at home doing homeschooling, listening to their teachers on Zoom. They are really disengaged. So we need to find and use these technologies to bring them, to get them engaged, to really get them immersed. And in the future as well for training, so they can get training in real conditions and control conditions that books cannot replicate. And for the future of health, I think enabling people to use the full stimuli. There are a lot of studies, some partners of us will talk about it in tomorrow, for example, that these will support people to recover from chronic pain or from trauma, because they know they are in a safe environment and they replicate what happened in their lives, and then they can better understand, and the brain can digest all of the information in a different way. So how does this work? It was a question that was already asked in the chat. So I mentioned in the beginning, what we develop is really a framework, a protocol that is quite light and agnostic, because what we want to do, as I just mentioned, is to build an ecosystem. And by agnostic, I mean we would work with all the devices that the consumer has. We are not a device producer. We are not a content producer. We are really agnostic. And we want to really push our app, Xperience Plus app, but as well enable other people to use and co-create the future. So we are happy to support other creators or innovators, other creative people, by giving our API, our white label solution, and to build something together. I mentioned several times our ecosystem, and people who knows me, I'm not only responsible for the marketing, I'm really an ecosystem builder. And I wanted to maybe end this presentation by telling you what our ecosystem looks like. So stimuli transmitters, as Patricio was already asking, we work with different stimuli transmitters, with different companies. Some of them are here, some of them were already mentioned in other talks, like AromaJoin or like OVR. So depending on the stimuli that we want to transmit, there are hundreds of solutions. Some are more expensive, some are cheaper, some touches or uses one sense, like the smell, like the taste, like the touch, and some focus on a specific solution, so or a user experience. Some focus on using the VR, so the device is made to be together with a mask or with the Oculus. Some are just for you to wear, a wearable. Some of others are to put on the table. So all of these device producers, we have been talking to them, trying to integrate their framework in our API, so that whatever the device that the user, that you and I have, the system can understand it, trigger it, and in real time send you the stimuli that that are meant to be sent. So this is the stimuli transmitter side. We have partners in different parts of the world, different prices, as I said. The same go for stimuli collectors. We are talking with different VR facilities as well, just to let you know, because when people don't have the devices at home, what we envision that can be done is that we say, okay, you don't have the devices to get the full experience. There is a VR next to you, and then we indicate the person to go there. Another possibility or another possibilities are to rent the devices, and in some countries we already have some partnerships where the devices will be sent to your home for the weekend, for example. And I think this is the way to solve the egg and the chicken problem. And part of the ecosystem, obviously, we have the doers. So the people that can be either people like you and me. I'm sorry, I don't know if we have someone that is really a professional video blogger or something, but we really want to enable everyone to use the technology. So companies as well, but persons can do it in the future as well. Drones, robots, and all the B2B area we have been trying to develop under this framework of ecosystem, of partnerships and co-creations, because we don't believe in building this just for us and to make a billion profit out of it and to become a unicorn. Really what we are trying to do here is to co-create something together that will change the world. And well, what I want to say and to conclude is that I invite you to join us. And now, if someone has questions, I'm really happy to go through it. So just raise your hands and I will allow people to come on stage. I don't see raised hands. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to see here. No, I don't see any raised hands. Don't be shy. How can we learn more and join? Asks Luis Henriques. So, to learn more, you can go to our website, for example, which is very easy because it's Xperience.plus. I think Sasha can also write it here on the chat. You can as well ping me directly on LinkedIn. Our idea is that this event that we built here is just the kickoff of something bigger, because we hope that once the coronavirus is gone, that we will be able to replicate it in a normal world, physical world, where we will even bring the devices and let you experience it somewhere. And our idea is really to, since we are quite a diverse and multinational team with network in multiple hubs, to try to go in different cities, in different continents, and so we have partners in barely every country. I think this would be something easy to do. If not us directly, someone associated with us would do it. But let's see. That's something more maybe in 2-3 months. Okay, thank you, Stefano. First ticket sold. When is the presentation by Philip? Well, the presentation by Philip is gonna be tomorrow, I think, around 2 o'clock, together with Kathy. So yeah, Philip indeed is a great mentor of us. We have been collecting some good feedback from him, and hopefully we can disclose more information about him and us soon. Does someone wants to discuss a particular industry? As said, you can just raise your hand and come on stage. José Cordeiro, obrigado. Indeed, we are thinking about doing, I'm Portuguese, so we are thinking about doing this session tomorrow in Portuguese, since we have, I would say, the biggest community is Portuguese speaking. We have a lot of Brazilian people with us. So I may do a Portuguese session to go through this in Portuguese again tomorrow. We still need to define it because we don't want to clash with other speakers. The hour tomorrow. How can this experience plus or experience help to become immortal? Well, good question. I think Fabricio is. This is the topic that Fabricio, my co-founder, loves the most. I think one of the past projects he had was still Forever Identity, which allows people to become immortal. That is not the focus of Xperience Plus, but indeed something that we believe is that experience can be as well saved, and that you could go back in time and watch the experience that you had. So when we build Xperience Plus app, we enable the possibility of people to saving it and watching it back whenever they want. Um, and that's one of the principles, because we believe that as well, not only live again, but as well share it with others. So some of the experience are really personal, and are meant to be private, and to be kept in their own environment. But if the person allows, our idea is that then the experience can be open to others. And the idea is interesting in a way that maybe I can explain you. So Xperience Plus, we want to enable people to live unlimited realities. We call it as well, it's like a dream. So I'm a dreamer and I have a dream, and the doer will do it for me. In this marketplace, this is not going to be for free, obviously. The dreamer will pay the doer. So the doer, we are allowing creators to get some money out of it. And the idea is that if the experience is then shared, the both the dreamer and the doer can still receive money from that. So we are also building this to support the passion economy that was just mentioned, or the skill economy, because indeed, by having the more experience, the more dreams there are done under the platform, the more that we are supporting the ecosystem. So that's also one of the goals of building the platform in this ecosystem. Let me check here if there are more questions. If we have a group on LinkedIn, it could be unlimited. Maybe it would be good to create a platform to exchange ideas. Yes, so Sasha already replied. We created a group on LinkedIn called Internet of Senses Forum. We can obviously share that. You will as well get the recordings of these sessions, all the other sessions, per email. So we will try to maximize the opportunities for people to network and to find synergies between them and the other attendees and other speakers. Okay. Is there any additional questions? How many people we have? We still have 25 people here. So maybe a nice discussion would be to you can just write on the chat which areas would you like the most to explore or to use this? Would it be for arts, for sports, for tourism, for music? I don't know. It would be really nice to do or to have the feedback from you, these 25 people. In the past, I did this survey on LinkedIn, and yeah, most of the people were missing the most, for example, traveling. I would be curious to see here what are people what would people like to have this? So for the art sector, Sasha is teasing here. I think for the art sector, there are really a lot of opportunities. For example, the museums have been, I just mentioned, it was one of the first points I mentioned, are facing huge financial problems. They are closed. And the solution that we submitted in the EU versus virus is quite interesting, because what enables really is that you can have the museum closed. You can even do it with a guide or with a drone. But imagine that you can visit the the museum from any part of the world. So it can be open 24 hours. It's again not pre-recorded. It's something that you can really spend the time that you want, just like a normal visit, and but that you could do it without traveling. So, for example, I lived 1 year in Paris some years ago, and every Friday I was going to the museum, well, pretty much to every Friday to a different museum. But obviously Louvre is one of the biggest, so for a year you can go every Friday and not get bored or not see. You would always see something different, and I miss this. So I think the possibilities are endless. Today, technology enables me to visit every Friday a different museum in different parts of the world. And this is not only beneficial for the museums itself. I think as a user, as a person, I think this opens up possibilities that are really unprecedented. And the degree of immersion will be more and more the key to differentiate the experiences and the price that we pay for it. So I think people during COVID experimented different types of solutions, um, uh, and some solutions, or most of the solutions, comes with a price, obviously. But I bet that most of the people here, they would be eager to pay something on top in order to get a VIP experience. And that's what we are talking about, where the on top part, it's something really acceptable that you can afford. So we are really looking forward. We have already some cases or projects that we are about to launch. Italy is one of the examples. So I hope that soon we will be able to present you a final live environment where you can really have access to unlimited reality of cultures and arts. Sanchali, thank you. Thank you for the feedback. Frankfurt. Okay, I see something, a very interesting question here from Magdalena. I believe she's an attorney at law, so she asks about the law industry. It's a topic, it's a very hard topic. I would like to take and answer you on something that is related, very correlated, which is as well the ethics. So behind this and behind the Internet of Senses, there will be a lot of ethical questions and law questions. Some of them, the framework behind it has been discussed for some years already, and are not yet finalized. From the side of Xperience Plus, obviously, I can tell you that we will do obviously everything in regards to law, and to reinforce that the laws need to be taken. So it's written everywhere that topics like adult content, religious content, extremism, and so on are forbidden in the platform, and that users, dreamers, and doers needs to respect each other. So we, as a community, have reinforced the limits or the terms and conditions in order to really work under the law, obviously. But what I think that it's really interesting is the ethical framework, because this will open, especially if in the future. Today, what I presented you is really the short term. It's something that Fabrizio presented as well as something that we can have in less than 10 months. But in parallel, we are also working for the next 5-10 years, where this framework can be worked with brain-computer interfaces, obviously. So this means that you don't need devices any longer, and that you start receiving all the streams, all the senses directly through your brain. There are some similar projects like Neuralink and so on, and that's where then the ethical questions and the laws are even more sensitive, because what are we streaming to the brain? What are the effects of streaming information into people's brain? So what I presented here, it's really easy compared to what comes next. But it's as well small steps that enables us to grow and to start working with the Internet of Senses. But something that I really liked as well to present, and maybe I didn't, is that this enables people, once we reach to the brain-computer interfaces, enables people to recover stimuli that they lost. So when people lose stimuli today, it's really hard to recover them. So even if you have a device that sends you the smell, if you lost it, you lost it. So the idea here is, once you start streaming towards your brain will receive the information, the cells will receive the information, and then you are enabling people really to recover the stimuli that they lost. So someone that lost the touch feeling suddenly will start getting those streamed directly to the brain. And this is a step that will be even more groundbreaking, I believe. And obviously we have a team supporting all of these in terms of neuroscientists, and soon this will be as well discussed in another forum. Okay, Magdalena, thank you. I was just reading what you wrote. I think we can obviously discuss this sooner, and I think we can provide more information to you and see how this could be used in Poland. Indeed, we have a big team of Singularity University in Poland coming. I think there will be a session in some hours, in 2 hours. Oh, it's already 3. Okay, soon. Yes, I think, thank you, Sasha, for saying it's at 4, so in 1 hour. Vamsi, also regarding the teaching and methodologies and projects, indeed, that's something that we also envision is that in the future, if people start streaming the senses, there will be the need of teaching them how to do it. So if there were classes 10 years ago for people telling them or showcasing them, teaching them how to use Adobe, Acrobat, whatever, PowerPoint, things that enables people to produce visual content, in the future, we believe that people will need as well methodologies, frameworks, people telling them how to work with our framework or other frameworks, because we know the world, that will enable to stream these stimuli. And then we need to work on activating devices, activating intensities, and what we do, maybe that's interesting as well for you, Vamsi, it's really, we work with emotions. So if people want to feel something, the idea is that we can play with the intensity of the things. So if I want to feel, I don't know, adventure, maybe all the stimuli will be on higher intensity, so that I feel really the touch, stronger touches, the smell, really powerful smell. But then if what I said is, okay, I want to visit India, but I want it to be relaxing. So then the transcoder, the framework, all the information that was sent will regulate how the stimuli are sent towards reaching the goal that I just said. Okay, I want to feel relaxed. And that's where the programming part takes it to the next level. Yes. Famsi, do you want to raise your hand and come to the stage? Well, we have 9 minutes to go, but I have here. Hi.
Oh, hi. We meet again.
Small world.
Yes, indeed, indeed. So, yeah, I was really fascinated with the whole presentation and even the previous talk by Fabrizio. And so we create a lot of virtual environments and we are world building. And I see a lot of potential in trying to integrate these processes. Even each sense adds a lot more value and makes the world a lot more interesting place to experience. Yeah.
Thank
So
you. Thank you for the
from the
feedback.
VR point of view, I'm really looking forward to see how we can really bridge and experience this. So from
do you have some projects that you are working with that you want to also present, or
I
use
would love
this open forum?
okay. I would love to. Can I? You mean right now?
Yes, why not? We have 8 minutes.
Okay, perfect. Let me share my screen.
So you are the founder of Futurely,
That's
based in
correct.
Frankfurt, just like us.
Yeah. Now we are technically based in India and a little bit here and Armenia as well.
Mhm.
Yeah. I have a super wide screen, so I hope people can see it.
Yes, yes.
Okay, great. So these are some of the projects. I come from a speculative architecture and design background, and we explore and experiment with a lot of generative design and the contemporary aesthetics overall. And we use this social virtual reality platform called Sanzar. It's available for free for everyone to download. And we use a variety of tools to develop our projects. And these are some of the VR projects that we had developed. So this, what you see here is a temple, and this is the inner sanctum of the temple. It's a purely virtual temple, and if you click the link below here, you can actually visit it and experience it yourself. And up to 35 people can visit it at
At
the
the same
same
time.
time.
And do you
Yeah.
have the stats of how many people already visited
Um,
in
yeah,
total?
that's a funny thing because we had an event with more than 300 people hosted
Mhm.
once, and there was a limitation because most of the virtual platforms that we have can host up to a maximum of 35 people at a time.
Mhm.
So the 300 people got split into more than 10 or 20 different worlds at the same
Yes.
time, and we had a party. So it was like multiple universes, and the
Yes.
party got split into many.
Yes. And
Yeah,
would you imagine, for example, building on top of this to include the other senses? I would believe that it would create really even a more immersive experience. Yes, and that's the
absolutely.
goal. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
because
Really nice.
thank you. Yeah. So these create artificial natures and artificial forests and different planetary sort of experiences. So there's a lot that could be added, even in terms of haptics, and the
Exactly.
touch adds a lot of layer too. Yeah,
Okay, I think we have here some room for symmetries, and I hope that soon we can discuss it. Thank you,
definitely.
Vansi.
Thank you, Pedro.
So, if there are no more questions, let me see on the chat if there are or not. How can I control? Okay, well, we have 4 minutes to 3 here, so I will call the session off. And once again, thank you. And you have my contacts. You know our website already, so feel free to connect and to join our ecosystem as I just presented. We are looking for more use cases, more partners, stakeholders to onboard. So all our team is more than happy to discuss synergies with you. I hope you can take the best out of this virtual forum that we built here. I hope that you will find inspirations, business partners, and well, stay with us. There is more today, and come back tomorrow as well, because tomorrow we have even a bigger lineup. It goes in under a different hour, but the idea is that we can plug people from different places of the world at different times. So see you later in another room or in another session. And thank you once again, and I hope to talk to you soon.